Shabbat Shalom. I heard that. This is Shabbat in Ottawa, all through the Eastern time zone. East of us, it's been Shabbat morning for a while, and Shabbat will just keep rolling across the continent and all the places we find ourselves. It's hard to find, maybe, Shabbat, rest, a refuge, a place to just say, this moment where I am is just right and just enough. And that's really what we'll be trying to carve out, that space for you and for us here this morning. A space where just being is just enough, and we can rest in that. So we'll chant through a few very short phrases of morning blessing, of acknowledgement, of praise, of breathing, of saying this time and this place and where we are is just enough. Maybe even Dayenu. Shiviti Shechina, I dwell in the presence, perpetually, always. Shiviti Shechina, benegdi tamid. Shiviti Shechina, benegdi tamid. Shiviti Shechina, benegdi tamid. Shiviti Shechina, benegdi tamid. moda. I say, ani, moda ani. I say, thanks. The full text that we'll get to after just dwelling in the modeh or moda ani lefanecha. Do we chant that a few times? We get to the ruach chai v'kayam, spirit or breath or wind that is perpetually alive. And after the moda ani, after this chant, we go into the Elohai neshama, the one who gave me this breath, thank you, it is just right. And breathing right now is just an amazing gift. I don't know that I necessarily took it for granted before, but I can say that right now, in this moment and in these moments, every breath I take, I'm feeling very grateful. Modani lefanecha, modani lefanecha, modani lefanecha. Modani lefanecha, modani lefanecha, modani lefanecha. Modani lefanecha, modani lefanecha, modani lefanecha. Moda ani lefanecha ruach chai v'kayam. Moda ani lefanecha ruach chai v'kayam. Moda ani lefanecha. Moda ani lefanecha ruach chai v'kayam. Moda ani lefanecha ruach chai v'kayam. Moda ani lefanecha. Ashrei, happy. Hello at the window near the water. Soon we'll get you some water. But Ashrei Yoshvei Veitecha, this psalm from the Psuke de Zimra, period of preparing for gelling into a minyan, bringing ourselves together, also involves being able to be with ourselves and in ourselves. And that sense of connection that we can find comes, and it can be a struggle to find this sense of comfort in dwelling in this sacred body and in this home, this place, the space we are in. Ashrei Yoshvei Veitecha, let's find the content in this space by sitting with it and sitting in it, so that we can Yahalalucha, Selah. In the chant, sometimes we add this word, this phrase, that has a kind of inchoate meaning. And for a lot of us, that's the place we're in, trying to find meaning in being in this place. The invitation for Ashrei is to find in your seated posture, in your languid posture, however you find yourself at this moment, a sense of comfort and a sense of understanding that this is where we will be dwelling, Yah willing, for a long time. Ashrei, Indeed. Ashrei Yoshvei Veitecha, oh Hallelujah, oh Hallelujah, 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 Ashrei Yoshvei Veitecha, oh Hallelujah, oh Hallelujah. Once more, Ashrei Yoshvei Veitecha. neshama. Back to Elohai neshama. Neshama, my God, the breath soul. Shenata tabi, that you placed in me. Tehorai, it's just right. Elohai, neshama, shenatata bi, tehorai. Elohai, neshama, shenatata bi, tehorai. Elohai, neshama, shenatata. Elohai neshama shenatata bi tehorai. Elohai neshama shenatata bi tehorai. Oh, pure soul in you I see endless possibility. Oh, pure soul in you I see endless possibility. Elohai neshama shenatata bi tehorai. Elohai neshama shenatata bi tehorai. I learned from a dear friend that children and parents of children are using something they're calling a comfort box. You take a shoebox, a container lying about the house, and you put in it something that provides comfort, your favorite stuffy, a picture album, if you still have those in albums, or a device with pictures, a special book, anything. For adults, I know there are many possibilities you can put in that box. Seeking and finding comfort. The prophet Isaiah understood that when the people were scattered and away from their sacred center, that what was needed was comfort. And in a way, now that we are not individually scattered, but scattered away from each other, not exiled to a far-off land that is unfamiliar to us, but exiled into our very familiar spaces, that comfort is no less called for. Nachamu, nachamu, ami. Nachamu, nachamu, ami. Nachamu, nachamu, ami. In our gathering together time, this is usually a moment for a bridge into formally becoming a Minyan. We are already so strongly tied together within our community, all the people our community connect with. Those of you here this Shabbat morning, those of you who will join us by phone, by all those forms, all those platforms. Preparing by looking through the Siddur, by looking at the Parsha. As I'll talk about when we get to the Torah section, looking at Parshat Tzav, the reading for today. And in so many of our commentaries under the line, I'm never more struck than this Shabbat and these times, how much our texts have to offer us. It's incredible to find the ancient wisdom rolling through the centuries, all the way back to the 20th century, when Mordecai M. Kaplan offered this kavanah, this intention, for the transition moment to a minyan. It spoke to me. I hope it speaks to you. Public worship aids us by liberating personality from the confining walls of the individual ego. Imprisoned in self, we easily fall prey to morbid broodings, interference with career, personal disappointment and disillusionment, hurts to vanity, the fear of death. All these tend to so dominate our attention that our minds move in a fixed and narrow system of ideas, which we detest, but from which we see no escape. With a whole wide world of boundless opportunity, we permit our minds, as it were, to pace up and down within the narrow cell of their ego prisons. But participation in public worship breaks through the prison of the ego and lets in the light and air of the world. Instead of living but one small and petty life, we now share the multitudinous life of our people. Against the wider horizons that now open to our ken, personal cares do not loom so large. Life becomes infinitely more meaningful and worthwhile when we become aware, through our participation in public worship, of a common life that transcends our individual selves. Mordecai Kaplan. On praying in a minyan and on being in this moment as we bless the source of life. As we bless the source of life, so we are blessed. As we bless the source of life, so we are blessed. And the blessing gives us strength and makes our visions clear. And the blessing gives us peace and the courage to dare. As we bless the source of life, so we are blessed. As we bless the source of life, so we are blessed. In the Siddur, a long set of blessings and prayers about creation and light follow. I offer again from under the line this kavanah, this intention from Sheila Peltz Weinberg. Every day, creation is renewed. Wake up and see unfolding in the spreading light of dawn the world and all it contains, coming into being, new, fresh, filled with divine goodness and love. Every day, creation is renewed. Reflected in the great lights, we see a new day, one precious day, eternity. Or chadash al Zion ta'ir, v'nizkeh kulanu b'mehera leoro. Baruch atah Adonai, yotzer ha'meorot. Blessed is the shaper of the heavenly lights. Ahava rabbah avtanu. With a great love, you, the source of all, love us. The Beatles songs, all of the song cues of my life pour in. And we could certainly have a song down, a sing up on love. There's a particular chant that starts with ahava, love, adds the word rachamim, compassion, then chesed, another variation on love, often translated loving kindness, and then shalom. We know as peace, but also forms the root for wholeness. And those four things, finding ahava, love, rachamim, compassion, chesed, caring, and shalom. Many of us are striving to do this. Now, don't turn the pages to the Torah reading yet. But this is deep Torah from so many teachers. I learned that offering this first to yourself, then to those you care about, and then to those beyond, is a way of drawing up and inhabiting, and thus then being able to fill the world with acts of loving kindness, compassionately, lovingly. So join me in this ahava chant that will lead us to the Shema. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. 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 Shema Yisrael Adonai Echad. And we shall know that you are one. And the bracha and the blessing in the morning service before the Amidah, when we hold up our people's redemption, it feels so much more pointed on this, the Shabbat right before Pesach. We'll sing for our Micha Mocha moment to chant the phrase that is in the biblical passage, the song of the crossing of the sea, Ozi v'zimratia, my strength. And my song shall be for me what carries me across. And then we'll chant this beautiful passage. When you pass through the waters, I am with you. For surely after that moment of crossing, there was uncertainty, there was fear, there was deep unfamiliarity and uncertainty. We start with my strength. Ozi. Ozi v'zimratia vayli lishua. Ozi v'zimratia vayli lishua. Ozi v'zimratia vayli lishua. Ozi v'zimratia Yes, I am with you. When you pass through the waters, I am with you. Yes, I am with you. I won't let the rivers overwhelm you. I will be with you. I won't let the rivers overwhelm you. I will be with you. Ki tavor b'mayim, itcha ani, itcha ani. Ki tavor b'mayim, itcha ani, itcha ani. ובנהרות לא ישטפוך, לא ישטפוך. ובנהרות לא ישטפוך, לא ישטפוך. כי תעבור במים, איתך אני, איתך אני. כי תעבור במים, איתך אני, איתך אני. ובנהרות לא ישטפוך, לא ישטפוך. ובנהרות לא ישטפוך, לא ישטפוך. When you pass through the waters, I am with you. Yes, I am with you. When you pass through the waters, I am with you. I am with you. I won't let the rivers overwhelm you. I will be with you. I won't let the rivers overwhelm you. I will be with you. Ki tavor b'mayim, itcha ani, itcha ani. Ki tavor b'mayim, itcha ani, itcha ani. ובנהרות לא ישטפוך, לא ישטפוך. ובנהרות לא ישטפוך, לא ישטפוך. It's the time now for some silent reflection, for some meditations, for those of you who have Kol HaNeshama at home or any Sidur. Take some time with the quiet. Howard will offer a wordless, an instrumental nigun. The traditional Amidah in our prayer book begins on 294. I offer a reflection from Abraham Joshua Heschel, followed by one of our guided meditations for the Amidah time. How marvelous is my home. I enter as a supplicant and emerge as a witness. I enter as a stranger and emerge as next of kin. I may enter enter spiritually shapeless and emerge wholly changed. It is difficult to perceive luminosity anywhere if there is no light in my home. It is in the light of prayer's radiance that I find my way even in the dark. It is prayer that illumines my way. As my prayers, so is my understanding. Sifatai tiftach ufi agid tehilatecha. Remember a moment in your life when you felt a sense of perfection. Try to dwell on the images of that moment until they are completely in focus. The visual image, the sounds, the physical sensations, the emotions. Do not rush this. Take that in and think, this is my Shabbat. This is my Shabbat. It's Torah time. In as full yet contained way as possible, we're going to enter into the texts of Torah for this day with some chanting from Torah and also from the Haftarah, which we don't typically offer, but the message was just too fabulous and wonderful. So where are we? Where are we in Torah? We're just in the second book, the second parsha of the book of Leviticus. And Parshat Tzav offers a recap of everything we had in the first parsha, and it's a recap of the sacrificial system. There are 5 categories: Olah, Mincha, Chatat, Asham, and Zevach Shlamim, and we get them detailed, oh so detailed, and we also read of the ordination of Aaron and his priests. And I will just say this: the ritual practices of sacrifices and the ordination scene involve a lot of roasting and smoking and dashing about of body parts of sacrificial livestock. This may be the segment of Torah that most of us just sort of want to only maybe hear in the Hebrew, where you can't really understand it. Because it seems to be inviting us to recall and honor practices that are not deeply inviting to visualize in your mind's eye. But I saw this week, as I read through the Parsha, yes, visualizing those scenarios that felt, exotic and remote and ancient, and then just zooming. Oh, sorry. Been a lot of zooming lately, yes. But maybe, ricocheting from those ancient scenes to scenes of this moment in these days that are perfectly relatable and meaningful. So from my other workplace, which is the Queensway Carleton Hospital, I've been getting daily updates and refinements to the protocols regarding PPE. And if you didn't know that secret code abbreviation, you might know it by now: personal protective equipment. So in the opening verses of this parsha, I was overwhelmed by the way the ancient text created a way of visualizing and understanding this amazing service, this avodah, that so many in our hospitals and elsewhere are performing at great risk to themselves. So I'm going to chant and offer an interpretive translation of the opening 6 verses of Parshat Tzav. And I'll recite you to invite you to recite, if you would like, if you have that available, the core passages of the opening blessing. Feel free to join in and recite our version of those blessings, or recite an Amen as we offer this reading today in honor, and in a way, I invite, take this aliyah in honor of all those who take on dangerous and challenging frontline work. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kervanu lavodato, v'natan lanu et torato. Baruch atah Adonai, noten HaTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Vayedaber Adonai el Moshe lemor. And Yud He Vav He, the breath offered sound in a way that Moshe could hear, saying in this way: Tzav et Aharon ve'et panav lemor, give this commandment to Aaron and to his sons, and put it this way. Zot Torah ha'olah. This is the way you give the fire that's inside yourself as an offering. Hi ha'olah al mokdav al mizbeach kol halayla ad haboker. And when you pull up that offering, let it get out there on the tables and the places of offering from morning till night. Ve'esh hamizbeach tukad bo, so that the fire, the burning up, the intensity that you bring to it can be there 24/7. V'lavash hakohen midovad. And those priests, those sacred folks, we call them priests or doctors or nurses or orderlies or drivers. They put on special garb. Umiknaseh vad yilbash al besaro. And those special garments they put close to their bodies. Veherim et hadeshen. But they put aside the contaminated remnants. Asher tochal ha'esh et ha'olah al hamizbeach, which the fire, which the burning up of the sacred work had left on the altar. V'samu eitzel hamizbeach, and place it next to the altar or in a special bin next to the places they're working. Ufashat et begadav v'lavash begadim acherim, and tell the priest to take off their vestments and put on different clothes. V'hotzi et hadeshen michutz lamachaneh, and carry all those things out of that sacred place, el makom tahor, to a place that is sanitary. V'ha'esh al hamizbeach tukad bo lo tichbeh. Yet that fire on the altar of the offering, it won't go out, it won't be extinguished. Uvier aleh kohen etzim baboker. Every morning, those sacred, those dear folks, those folks who have been charged with this sacred task, shall feed the fuel of the offering. V'yarach aleh olah v'yiktir aleh chelvei hashlamim, and distribute the offerings of well-being. Eish tamid tukad al hamizbeach lo tichbeh. And that perpetual fire will keep on burning for the duration. It won't be extinguished. And blessing of to acknowledge your commitment to this blessing. Of the text. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu torat emet, v'chayei olam nata betochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. So this is the Saturday before Pesach. And there's a deep connection between this Shabbat called Shabbat Hagadol and Shabbat Shuvah, Saturday before Yom Kippur. And it's not just because of custom or just because of their characteristics. So in pre-modern Jewish communities, when rabbis had very different kinds of tasks assigned to them, these dates would be the 2 days for the big sermon, the big teaching. And as you can imagine, they were likely focused on the halachot, the laws related to keeping Passover. This was a Shabbat before Passover, or observing that very full day of teshuvah, of repentance, that is Yom Kippur. So both have these similar qualities, if you will. Introspection, stock taking. It might be about the chametz that you have in your house, but also about what is that chametz, that puffed up quality in you that you want to, allow to abate, perhaps. So, and on Passover as well as on Yom Kippur, much of what we're doing is personal and internal, but also communal, and relates to the level of our peoplehood, our collective. So this week's challenge, in a way, is a very familiar one. How do we make meaning out of the text assigned to the date, out of the sequence of things that unfold at this season? It always feels a little weighty and a little challenging preparing for Passover. So as we say, alachat kama v'chama, how much more so? Does it feel weighty here? So it's interesting, our Parshat Tzav, does not always coincide with Shabbat Hagadol. So I was just so struck by that image, that one of designated practitioners consecrating themselves to their people, taking care of their garments in the precinct of their offerings, keeping it going night and day. And even that term, chalvei hashlamim, the offerings of well-being or wholeness, couldn't be more poignant, more pointed. So, in addition, this layer of the Haftarah, special prophetic reading that's assigned for Shabbat Hagadol, is different from the one that would have been read for Parshat Tzav, also brings a connection that draws right from our people's ancient experience and narrative to this present moment. And it echoes the invitation that's in the Haggadah that we read or draw from, maybe in small segments this year for our Seder. The Haggadah says explicitly, B'chol dor v'dor, in each generation, one should see themselves as if they themselves went out of Mitzrayim. So the prophetic reading is from the book of Malachi. The prophet is actually anonymous. We don't have a specific story or name. The name just means my messenger. And this very short book is actually the conclusion from the book of the prophets. The messages are remarkably contemporary sounding, though it is believed the author lived around the middle of the 5th century BCE. Because Malachi's texts address very specific religious concerns of the day, not unlike our own. Doubts about God, questions about family responsibilities, social responsibilities, and a general prevailing sense of instability and transition. That was the prophet's world. The Haftarah passage from chapter 3, ending in verse 24, it concludes with a message of great warning as well as great hope. And it explicitly ties into the notion of generations and the experience of learning from the past and passing it along forward. Each of those concepts, learning from wise ones, from elders, from experts, sharing what we know by passing it along, and paying attention to what happened previously, seems sharply tailored, if you will, to this moment. But also, You know, there are all of these fiery passages of admonishment in Malachi. Do this, or terrible things shall befall you. No, don't do that, or terrible things shall befall you. Imagine the people's confusion, in a way. I don't have to imagine it. It's where we are. It can feel overwhelming to take in and to figure out amongst all the challenging guidelines, the strict ones, and the ones that just seem uncertain, and yet we dearly strive to abide by in these times. I definitely don't want to draw down or try to sell a particular theology around all of this. God, no. For me, for this Shabbat, it's enough to encounter the texts and draw forward, even just from these handful of verses and phrases, some insight into the present moment. So as I said, the full Haftarah goes from verses 3 through 24. I'll just be chanting the last two verses, 23 and 24, and I'll be observing the custom of not ending a reading from sacred text on a negative note. So the practice when reading this Haftarah is to chant 23 and then 24, and then go back and read 23 again. For those of you who would like have the Haftarah blessing before, please join with me, or offer an amen for these words, for the righteous prophets who spoke truth and offered justice. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar b'nviim tovim v'ratza v'divrehem hanemarim behemet. Baruch atah Adonai habocher b'Torah u'v'Moshe avdo u'v'nevi'ei ha'emet v'tzedek. Hine anochi sholeach lahem et Eliah hanavi lifnei po yom Adonai Hagadol v'hanora. Behold, I will send you the prophet Elijah before the coming of the great and awesome day of Adonai. V'heshiv levavot al banim v'lev banim al avotam, in order to turn the hearts of the elders to their young ones, and the hearts of the young ones to their elders. Penavo v'hiketi et ha'aretz cherem, lest there be smiting of the earth and utter destruction. Hine anochi sholeach lahem et Eliah hanavi lifnei bo yom Adonai Hagadol v'hanora. Al haTorah v'al havodah v'al hanavim, for the Torah and for service and for the prophets, v'al yom haShabbat hazeh, and for this very day of Shabbat, shenatata lanu, which you have given us. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat. Blessed is the source of the sacredness of Shabbat. There are several versions of the Mishaberach for healing. And we often, it's the custom that this healing prayer is offered in a way in the presence of or refracted through the light of Torah. I want to acknowledge, I couldn't possibly acknowledge by name all of my colleagues, rabbis, cantors, and music leaders, leaders of Chavarot, people who are finding that fire within themselves and offering amazing creative offerings and versions of our prayers. This is a prayer for the healers by Rabbi Ayelet Cohen. May the one who blessed our ancestors bless all those who put themselves at risk to care for the sick, physicians and nurses and orderlies, technicians and home health aides and personal care workers, EMTs and pharmacists, hospital social workers and respiratory therapists and cashiers, transit workers, firefighters, all the ones, all those who navigate the unfolding dangers of the world each day to tend to those they have sworn to help. Bless them in their coming home and bless them in their going out. Ease their fear, sustain them. Source of all breath, healer of all beings, protect them and restore their hope. Strengthen them, that they may bring strength. Keep them in health, that they may bring healing. Help them know again a time when they can breathe without fear. Bless the sacred work of their hands. May this plague pass from among us speedily and in our day, and let us say,
Amen.
Amen. And from a Kavanah by Rabbi Elisa Goldberg, you can start the Elna chant, and then we'll offer that chant together. Elna Refanallah, please God heal her. Often at such a moment, as our minds begin to race with thoughts of the future, we find ourselves at a loss for words. When words come, questions arise. Why is this happening? There are no easy answers. Each of us must try to make our own meaning out of what we're encountering. Illness, tragedy, and loss are difficult teachers. They shatter our lives and the world no longer seems to make sense. El na refanala, please God heal her. Refuah shalema, a whole healing, a healing of peace, healing of spirit, a healing of body. El na refanala.
Shall
bring our Shabbat morning to a close first with this version of Aleinu, where we keep coming back to the phrase Ein Od. This is all Ein Od. עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שנתן לנו תורת אמת, וחיי עולם נטע בתוכנו. אין עוד, אין עוד, אין עוד. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. אין עוד, אין עוד, אין עוד, אין עוד. נאמר להי אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד. אין עוד, אין עוד, אין עוד, אין I rise on behalf of all those who are observing a yard site, the anniversary of the death of a loved one, who are in a period of mourning for a lost loved one, for those who have no one to say Kaddish for them, and for those who yearn for that sense of connection in grieving recent losses in this time of physical distancing. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'v'zman kariv v'imeru Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'alam u'le'almei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitba'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shmeh dekudesha b'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran ba'alma v'yimeru Amen. Yehei shlama Rabbah min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimeru Amen. Oseh shalom bimroma hu yaseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'al kol yoshvei tev v'yimeru Amen. May the one who creates harmony above make peace for us, for all our people, and for all people who dwell on earth. And let us say, Amen. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. I hear it. I hear it. The announcements are, take care of yourselves. And know that anything you are doing is just the best and just as it can possibly be at this moment. And Passover is coming up. There are many resources available. We have on our website a plethora of lovely, juicy, delicious little videos and packages. Maura Jenny, our educator, has made it possible for you to welcome the stranger, to bring in customs from other places, even though we can't actually do it. Reconstructing Judaism has a beautiful virtual Passover box and has made available a night of questions, our beautiful physical Haggadah in PDF form for you to draw from. And I don't know about you, but if you've been at all on a desktop, laptop, tablet, or smartphone in this last little while, you may be getting overwhelmed by all the possibilities. There are many possibilities, so dear hearts, if Passover this year means a piece of matzah, some grape juice, just dipping whatever greens you've got and going dayenu, that taka would be a seder. And for those of you learning and struggling about getting online, in this more attached way, there's a concept of actually having Shabbat during the week. Say 5 p.m. every afternoon. Take a 5-minute or longer Shabbat from technology. Couldn't be a better moment to actually internalize the concept of Shabbat and spread it as you are able throughout the week. Conclude with these words, text from Psalms and interpretation in English by another rabbinic colleague, Menachem Creditor. Another message of love, love, love. That doing what we are doing is just, is righteous, and is love-filled. Olam chesed yibaneh, yadadai, yavai, yavavai, Olam chesed yibaneh, yadadai, yavai, yavavai, Olam chesed yibaneh, yadadai, yavai, yavavai, Olam chesed yibaneh, yadadai, yavai, yavavai. I will build this world from love. Yadadai, yadadai, yadadai. And you must build this world from love. Yadadai, yadadai, yadadai. And if we build this world from love, yavavai, vai, vai, yavavai, vai, then God will build this world with love. Yavavai, vai, vai, yavavai, vai. Chag Pesach Sameach. Shabbat Shalom. Love, love, love.